I have done cases where the harvesting by the particular collectors of exhibits has been faulty. And if the lab gets tainted material of whatever nature, then the result may come out in a way that does not suit the ends of justice. So I made the call based on my experience. Let everything be ventilated. The law is quite clear. If identification does not come up to par according to law, then the prosecutor's duty is clear. These criticisms are coming from what I'd like to term uninformed sources. Part and parcel of being Director of Public Prosecutions, provided by the Constitution, is to make the tough calls. And very often, unless you have the experience of a seasoned prosecutor, you are totally au fait with the relevant law, you are totally au fait with the material that we have to work with, and some of the exigencies, some of the difficulties in respect of getting witnesses. You may not necessarily understand the context, legal and otherwise, of the decisions that we have had to make. Some of the issues that we are facing is clearly the need for more resources. We need more staff. We also need more office space, because I am at my limit with 43 lawyers and about 35 members of the support staff, administrative. We are at our limit, maximum limit in terms of office space. So we need to have an enlarged area so that I can continue to live my dream in terms of bringing quality service to the public by enlarging the staff complement, going up to another perhaps 10 to 15 prosecutors. We give total priority to all matters that come for ruling in respect of police malfeasance as it pertains to corruption. If you speak to the Assistant Commissioner who is in charge of the anti-corruption branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, they will give us an A grade for our responsiveness. We have to make sure that the process is fair, not only to the victims, but also to the accused. And it is unethical. It is unethical to bring a prosecution where it is quite clear that the information or the material that you have falls below the standard. That is really not a part of my remit. That remit would belong to the Attorney General's office or the Contractor General. I am very respectful of what the parameters of my powers as outlined in Section 94 prescribe, and I try not to go beyond these powers. I will offer assistance when we research and we produce our findings. However, I'm very respectful of the remit that my colleague heads of department have, and I stay within the four corners of my remit. I pay INDECOM and its powers every respect. However, I am cognizant of the fact that this particular power that INDECOM has, or the court has pronounced that they have powers of arrest and charge and the ability to initiate a prosecution, that it has to be done within the parameters of their remit. So, as I have indicated to the Commissioner of INDECOM in meetings with him and in written correspondence, I will give every assistance where required, and if there are referrals that are sent to me, we will deal with them. So, the DPP's office is willing to work with any entity to advance the cause of justice. It is really for Parliament to decide which direction they would wish to go. One has to take into account the cultural milieu of Jamaica. One has to take into account that this is a new entity that is still untested in respect of the capacity building that it is presently into. One has to take into account that the resources are still not as adequate as one would wish, and certainly the institutional history is still very, very small. Prosecuting is an art, and the ethics and the integrity which demand that you make sure that there is ultimate fairness in the process to the accused is guarded very jealously by the court. To have the investigator be one and the same as the prosecutor without a firewall or some sort of insulation may cause some issues. Maybe I will evolve in a couple of years and become a much quieter, staid individual.